Good day, everybody. My name is Matthew Gibb. I'm going to be the Master of Ceremonies for this afternoon. Just want to say thank you for coming out to both the hike as well as this ceremony. It means a lot to everyone to appreciate the amazing life of Brook Morrison. He was such a heavy presence in all of our lives that he would have loved to see all of us together as one. So thank you once again. I've known the Morrison family for about 14 years now, and that's all thanks to the friendship that I built with Brook at a very young age. We learned a lot of things together, both good and bad. We learned how to drive a boat. I then learned how to crash the boat. We learned how to drive a quad. I then learned how to crash the quad. We learned how to kickstart a motorbike. We learned how to throw a fly, how to shoot a rifle. We learned how to try and flirt with women. Didn't work out very well for us. And we learned how to throw a party. And then we learned what a hangover felt like afterwards. So, we had a lot of really good experiences together. We had a lot of cries, a lot of smiles, a lot of laughs. And as you can probably tell by my shaking legs, I'm super nervous, but it is what it is. But those are some of the things that I learned with Brook. Then there was plenty of things I learned from Brook that I never had the chance to really tell him. And those things were, I learned how to do them because I wanted to do them and because they were what gave me joy. I learned, he taught me that it's okay not to have a path that you're following, but just to keep your head down and keep on trucking, and it's all going to work out in the end. He showed me the beauty that this world does have to offer through the various trips that he went on into the wilderness, which all of us got to see and got to experience through his sharing. And then he showed me the beauty that one person can possess by the way that he interacted with others and the love and affirmation that he gave to every single person that he met. Now, this is off the script, but I have a really close friend who kind of gave me a nuanced way of thinking when it comes to memories. I've known Brook for so long that some of the memories that we built over the 14 years, I don't recall all the details. I don't recall everything that's happened. And that's because you're not remembering the experience. You're remembering the last time you remembered the memory. And I'm shaking right now. But one thing that you always remember was the way that that person or that event made you feel. So though some of the experiences that we might have had with Brook, just if we can't remember the minute details does not mean that you're not going to remember the way that they made you feel. And that's what I get to hold on to the rest of my life. I am forever grateful for both Brook and the Morrison family for being in my life to help me mold me into the individual that I am today. So for that, I say to the Morrison family and all the family, thank you. And to Brook, I love you, buddy, and happy trails, my dude. Before I pass the microphone along to those who'd like to say a couple words on Brook today, we do have a few announcements. It's just a couple of thank yous to everyone that contributed today. Thank you to the Boss Estates, this beautiful estate, for holding the venue, and to the Valley Weddings for helping keep everything going along smoothly. Thank you to the Leps Farm Market family that meant so much to Brook for contributing the refreshments and the chairs and the tables and everything else that you guys did for us. So we really do appreciate that. And thank you to Mitch and the MS Productions for setting up the sound as well as the live stream, so people who couldn't make it out today get to watch us virtually. Thank you to Megan Lepp for the floral arrangements and for the tent guys for the pop-up tents. That's going to be keeping us dry if it starts to rain. And thank you to everyone else that contributed in both big and small ways. It really is appreciated. Washrooms, if you guys haven't found them, right down straight to the left, first door on the left. And this is a no-smoking venue, so please refrain from smoking. We do have some planned speeches today, but there will be an opportunity at the end for anyone who'd like to say a couple words on Brook to come up for a couple of moments and share a memory or even just share how he made you feel. So I'd like to start off by inviting Josh Kilcullen up to say a few words.
Hi, everybody. I'm Josh Kilcullen. I've known Brook and the Morrisons for about 11 years now. there's a lot of things I could say about Brooke. I could probably stand up for about 4 or 5 hours, but obviously we didn't have the time for that, so I'm going to keep it short and sweet. Brooke was my best friend. We spent a lot of time together throwing Hawaiian nights, hence why I wore the Hawaiian shirt today. That was kind of where our friendship started, was having our Hawaiian nights and, drinking and going crazy. But he was, like Matt said, just a beautiful human being who always made you feel like you could be the best that you were, even when you didn't think that you were the best. At times when I was in my absolute lowest and being absolutely just not a good human to myself, he always came around and he always treated me like I was the best. I was always on top, and nothing could stop me. Sorry. Yeah, I'm really sad Brooke can't be here today to see how many lives he touched and how many people actually just really, really loved him deep down more than anything. He taught a lot of people how just to be happy, and he took people a long way. He was always so stoked on life, always so stoked to go on the trail, always so stoked even when it was raining. And so many times I'd see him, he'd walk on the rain and say, "Oh, what a beautiful day." For everyone else, it's not the best, but for him, it was everything. So, yeah, there's a lot more I could say, but I just want to say thank you to the Morrisons. And Brooke, I love you so much, and I miss you.
Thank you, Josh. Appreciate that. He really was a happy guy, wasn't he? Even if it was raining. It was insane. No one likes the rain. Jeez. Next, I'd like to call up Sean Pitzel. Come on, buddy.
Hello, everyone. I'm just going to go off my speech for a second here. Brooke would be laughing his ass off right now, knowing that I'm up here in front of a bunch of people giving a speech, because he knows that the one thing that scares the hell out of me in my life is being in front of people and talking. So I know he's having a good laugh for that. All right. Today marks 2 years since Brooke finished his incredible hike on the Pacific Crest Trail. The fact that we are gathered here today was just a bit of a strange coincidence. On that day, we gathered some of the LEP crew in coordination with Anne-Marie to surprise him upon finishing the trail. The weather was beautiful, as was the love and joy shared among us as we greeted our accomplished friend and brought him home. The only thing that was off-putting was the almost visible fog of pure stench that followed Brooke at all times, a fact that him and his long-distance hikers are proud of. They call it hiker funk, and it's just a day's pay for what they proudly call hiker trash. He called himself Cashew, a nickname he received on the trail. It's customary to have a trail name on the PCT, and he made one of his classic Brooke jokes to a fellow hiker early on the hike, something about asking her what nut she was eating, and when she said cashews, he snapped back a quick "bless you." He talked often about his amazing adventures on the PCT and all the wonderful, inspiring people he shared it with. I've never heard him happier when describing their trail names, how they got those names, the ups and downs of the trail, and everything in between. It was without a doubt the most wonderful and happy experience of his life. And I know he left a part of his heart on that trail and with those he shared it with. Brooke and I met years before I started working for the LEP family in 2016, but we were just acquaintances until the summer when that shy 22-year-old walked up to me and told me he just needed an ear and opened up like no one had ever met before. We became fast friends and forged a friendship where there were no subject barriers and no expectations, aside from the fact that we were always there for each other. We both related on many things: our passion for the environment, our itch for adventures, our love of Star Wars, gaming, and geology. We also differed enough to open up some interesting discussions. Even our most headstrong opinions gave way to understanding, because that was Brooke. In his eyes, it was okay to be different. He often quoted Bob Ross in saying, "We don't make mistakes, we have happy accidents." In our differences, and in his passions, and in life, he wanted to be mellow and understanding. As I said, between us there was no barriers for what we could talk to each other about, and we both endured our battles with mental health. We had our deepest conversations on our darkest days. As anyone who has battled with their own mind knows, It can be a bit like a roller coaster with good days and bad. And by some twist of fate, Brooke and I were almost always in the exact opposite headspace to help keep each other above the waves. And at times where I felt most hopeless in the past few years, he would say something along the lines that we're just a couple of dinguses on this spinning rock hurling through space, so let's make the best of what we got. Be mindful and live in the moment. I can't say I'm always mindful, and I can't say I always live in the moment, but those words which help me stay above the waves will always echo in my mind as easily as his infectious giggling does. One thing that I believe defined Brook was how much he cared for the people in his life. If you were interested in something, he was interested too. He wouldn't just sit and nod his head as he blathered on about something. He would take a genuine interest, ask questions, and learn. It didn't matter what hobbies you had. He wanted to know because he wanted to be your friend. He wanted to appreciate every aspect of you. He was like that with life in general. From the flowers on the hikes, to the trees, to the stars and the planets in the sky, and the clouds that sometimes obscured, he loved to learn and spread his knowledge and his passions. He wanted to share in this beautiful life. He wanted to teach us all how to live it. In these past weeks, I've looked towards the sky during sunset and stopped to soak it in. The strange thing is, if I hadn't met Brook, I honestly don't know if I'd appreciate it even by half. He's still here with his hand on my shoulder, pointing out what I've often been too busy to see. Let's all remember to appreciate the little moments because he strived to make us do just that. I had the privilege of sharing a tight-knit group of friends with Brook, and this past August moved into an apartment with him. In the short time we spent living there, he continued to prove what an amazing friend he was. He was thoughtful in so many ways. He would even surprise you with food for the shifts where he came home late from work. It was only 4 weeks, but I'm honored to have spent that time with him. I would like to finish this by speaking to Brook directly. He would already be calling me a dingus for going on as long as I have. I have to admit that I struggle now because you are one of the most genuinely unique people in my life. And you touched every aspect of my life. The loss of your empathy, your understanding, your perspective, and your energy, and your lovably insane sense of humor are wounds that will close, but never truly heal completely. I don't think I'd want them to, because no one can fill your hiking boots, buddy. The pain may pass, but I will carry the love and memory of you until my dying day. Brook, you lived for adventure, you lived for joy, you lived for your friends and family. Most of all, you lived to experience our beautiful world, and now you're hiking the greatest trail of all. Someday we will hike alongside you again. Good day, happy trails, and I want to end this by saying to you the last 3 words I heard out of your mouth. Sleep tight, amigo.
Thank you, Sean. Up next, I would like to invite Brent Peters to say a few words.
Brook, man, it takes a lot to make me feel nervous. I don't feel nervous that easy, but oh boy. Yeah, you did it this time. Brooklet, my dude, homie, handsome devil, governor, Brook. These are just a small sample of the names that I used for Brook and he used for me over the last 5 years. My time with him was different than some of the other people that have shared and are going to share today. Brook and I were not brothers. We weren't best friends. We were very close, but it was different. He and I didn't go on grand adventures together. We didn't even go on small adventures together. I never climbed Needle Peak with him. I didn't meet him on the PCT. I didn't crush on New Zealand girls with accents with him. We didn't live together. We didn't drink together. We didn't cry together. We worked together. That may sound distant or trite, but it wasn't. It really wasn't. Brook and I had thousands of moments together. These moments were what made up a relationship with a man that was very dear to me. Moments that kept me laughing when I didn't want to anymore. Moments that helped me to stay mindful when I was getting too wrapped up in the stress of work and life. Moments that gave me rest when I needed it. Moments that made me stronger when I felt weak. It's hard to grieve specifically about someone or explain the loss to someone else when there's just too much to explain. There aren't many people that would understand how much I miss "Oi, mate," or "Yes, chef." There isn't a way to explain to someone who doesn't know how bad I just want to hear one more nonsense Swedish accent. I just want to hear once again that if he had to choose a tail, he would have wanted to choose a dolphin's tail so that he could swim super fast. Or to hear one more great fact about the superiority of bubble baths, or that his favorite guilty pleasure was back tickles. Many of you don't know that I was secretly masterminding behind the scenes some of Brook's greatest adventures. Brook played a pretty key role in our team at work, and I selfishly wanted him around as much as possible. When he broke up with his longtime girlfriend, I asked him to stay at the market, to work through his pain with us, alongside us. When he got the itch to travel, I scrambled to help him find somewhere in the southern hemisphere to travel to, New Zealand, so that he could still come back and be a part of our summer crew when we would need him the most. When he decided to go on the PCT, I pushed to throw him a big work party at Fieldhouse so that he would want to come back to us when he got back. I may be overstating my influence on Brook's decision-making, but what I'm not overstating is how much his family at Leps loved him and wanted to keep us as his home base. We wanted to be the beginning and the end to his adventure loops. Those moments I was talking about helped to shape us into who we are. He was us. Now, Brook, those moments are different. I've looked at sunrises and sunsets differently lately. Toque season will feel a little different on my own. Cold, crisp mornings feel a little different now because you should be there, Brook. Every one of our apple displays won't be quite good enough now. No shallot sale will ever be quite as successful. But I take some comfort in believing that you knew these things, Brook. No matter how big the struggle, I believe you knew how much you were loved. We told you, and you told us back. You lived knowing love, and you lived giving it back. And I'm thankful I knew you, Brook. I'm a better man for it. So, with one of your most memorable puns to me, I'll flip it back to you. Brook once said to me, "These peanuts may be from Tennessee, but you're the only 10 I see." Happy trails, my dude. We love you, we miss you.
Thank you so much, Brent. Now, I'd like to open up the floor to anyone that'd like to come up and take 2 minutes to say a few words about Brook or share a memory. As everyone knows, public speaking can be hard for a lot of people. It can be anxiety-inducing, but just know that you're surrounded by friends and family, so this is a safe space free of judgment. So if you do have a story that you'd like to come and tell, we would all like to hear it. So if you can please just raise your hand, and I'll call you up. All right, you're coming up.
With great tragedy comes great compassion. My name's Michael Morrison. I'm one of Brook's many cousins. I just want to start by saying how incredibly thankful and grateful we are for everyone, right from the beginning of the search to locate him, police officers, search and rescue teams, volunteers, everyone came from all over, search right from dawn right till it got dark. Thank you to Charlotte and Rob Lepp for all of your support, all the meals, the tents today. To the rest of the Lepp family, thank you so much for providing a community, a second family for Brook. It's clear how much you all meant to him, and it's very good. It gives me a lot of comfort. There's strength in community, face-to-face community, not online community. And today, that seems like a fleeting thing, so thank you so much. Thank you to Pippa and Tim for being such rocks. Josh, Sean, David, the rest of Brook's close friends, my heart breaks for you, and know that I'm here for you. One of the few positive things to come out of all this was getting to know you guys. I was lucky enough to spend a large portion of my childhood with the Morrison boys. That's what we call them in the Morrison family, the Morrison boys. I was babysat by my Aunt Anne Marie and my Uncle Peter from the ages of 4 to 10 when they lived in Coquitlam. During those years, I was just another blonde boy added to the bunch. I mean, they had 4 already. What was one more? For much of my childhood while you lived in Coquitlam, it was almost as though I had brothers of my own. Taylor, Braden, Brooke, Morgan. I always had people to play with, fight with, blame things on, drive cars up and down the driveway, slip inside with in the backyard, and run around the house shooting each other with elastic band guns. It's more traumatic. It's not as traumatic as it sounds, but when I think of my childhood, I think of you guys. And I love you like my brothers. From a young age, I'm kind of yelling, sorry. From a young age, Brooke was always so giving and compassionate. It started with simple things like fruit snacks or fruit by the foot or other sugary treats. The age difference between us was perfect. I was old enough to know that sharing was good, except for when it came to desserts. Brooke was still young to grasp the second half of that. Brooke's sense of humor and quick wit were unmatched. It started as a boy. He had such an infectious giggle that you couldn't help but join in when the laughter started. The giggle became especially adorable when he lost his 2 front teeth and couldn't help but expose his grin from ear to ear. His quick wit continued into adulthood, as Sean highlighted with his Pacific Crest Trail name. It gives me comfort to know that Brooks seized on any opportunity of adventure that presented itself, from his first trekking trip in high school to his adventure in New Zealand and the countless hikes in between, and of course his life-changing and inspiring experience on the Pacific Crest Trail. The countless friends he made along the way, there is something inspiring with how Brook chose to live his life on this earth. He was the antidote for 2020. He believed in and was passionate about science and the environment. He knew how to make you laugh, and he was compassionate beyond measure. He believed in kindness and treating your fellow man as you would want to be treated. Oftentimes, after a tragic death like this, it's common for people to wonder why. I don't wonder why. I have no doubt that the fateful day 7 years ago weighed on Brook like a weight. I imagine he thought about it every day. Initially, you might feel as though you can carry it with you for a while, but that weight bears on you harder and harder. And as life is known to do, it tends to throw you more challenges, and eventually that weight becomes unbearable. It is in this time that extremely depressed people have become disconnected from a sense of future in a way that really distressed people have not. There's no doubt in my mind that that traumatic event is why we're all here today. Recently, as I've thought about my memories of Brook over the last month, I'm reminded of one night in 2015 on a fishing trip remembering Brook's dad, Peter. Brook, Braden, myself, Danny, and Brook's girlfriend, Stephanie, at the time, sat around a campfire chatting and catching up. Braden had brought along his telescope, and we spent the evening stargazing. We gazed at the moon, at Saturn, at Mars. You guys pointed out the constellations you knew, and you taught me how to find the North Star. Look for the Big Dipper, and it's straight across from the tip of the ladle. As I searched for comfort in this time of grief, I remember being told as a child that when hikers get lost in the woods, they are told to look for the North Star, and it could provide a sense of direction, a way back to safety. In this time where we might feel lost or unsure of how to put ourselves back together, we can make Brook our North Star. Talk about your struggles openly and honestly. Find something you're passionate about and revel in it. Live with an open heart and let strangers in. Speak out for things you believe in. Morgan, Braden, Taylor, Emery, there are no words I can say to take away the hurt, but I do offer you this. While it may be hard to see around the next bend or over the next hill, this does not have to be the final chapter of our story. There are brighter days to come. And if you ever feel like you need help finding your way out of the woods, know that I am here. I love you guys. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Now, is there anyone else that'd like to say a few words? Even just a memory or just the way being around Brook made you feel? All right, Taylor.
All right. Just haven't really thought of what I'm going to say here, but a big thanks from all of us in our family to, especially to everyone at LEP. you know, you guys were obviously a big part of his life for the last 8 years, and we really appreciate you taking him in and treating him the way you did. So thank you. Same thing, you know, Rennie Realty and everyone that's contributed to that GoFundMe. You know, just covering all the costs. It's amazing the costs that you don't really understand that'll come up with the death and funerals and cremation and all that sort of stuff, but it adds up real quick. So thanks to all of you. And I know there's nothing really firm in the works here yet, but we certainly hope to get some sort of, you know, fund or whatnot happening with those funds to help people that want help, right? So stay tuned for that sort of stuff. But I guess my act's going to be a little more stern and straightforward here. Kind of at the root of the issue. You know, obviously 7 years ago, our family lost my dad to suicide, and it's something that completely gutted us, right? And certainly affected all of us, and Brook especially with what he had to go through. And he's battled with it over the years, right? He sought counseling, and it's been a constant struggle. And it's one of those things that he was such a happy guy, as you all say. It's not something that you really, you know, see him as dealing with mental health issues. So all I can say to all of you here and everyone watching is that you're gonna need help after this, and you know, don't be afraid to talk to someone, right? Reach out, whether it's counseling, whether it's talking to friend, family. It's not something that's gonna blow by easy. You know, I've been really bad for that myself and putting it under the rug for the last 7 years, and I've sort of struggled with mental health as well as a result of that. So keep that in mind, talk to each other, you know, whether it's yourself going through mental health issues or you think that someone else might be, it's, you know, communication is key. That's about all I got to say, really. Talk to each other, because it's not going to go away.
Thank you, Taylor. And thank you for everyone for coming out today to celebrate the beautiful life of Brook. In a few short moments, we are going to be doing a Jello toast. Yeah, we are going to be doing a Jello toast. But while Tyson is passing out the Jello shots, I have a couple more announcements. The event will be ending at 5 p.m., but until then, feel free to hang out and have some refreshments and stay with good company. On your way out, please make sure that you pick up a plant a tree gift so you can plant your own sapling in memory of Brook. Be sure to take one of the postcards with Brook's famous pizza recipe documented on the back so you can take it home and cook it yourself. And if you are able to help us pack up, if you want to stay past 5 p.m., we'll put you to work. To end the ceremony, Josh is going to be coming back up to do the Jello shot toast. So once they're all handed out, we'll continue with that, all right? And for those of you who do not know, Brook actually is with us today, just over to my left over here. So if you want to come say a few words to him by yourself, feel free to do that.
I actually had a far easier time writing this toast than I did my speech. I don't know why, but I think it was just because this was always something that we did together. Once we made 200 Jello shots for a party of about 6 people. And I tried to entice Brook to see like how little water we could actually use in the Jello shots, and he was on board. But that was the night I saw him sleep on the dog bed, so he was not happy the next morning. But I just want to say to our friend Cashew, Brook, Dingus, anything that you call them, everything. We loved you, and we miss you so much. But your memory will live on forever, and we'll never stop telling stories about you. Happy trails, my dude, and good day. Oh, it tasted like you guys tried to play with the whole alcohol game as well. You took my advice. I like that. You know, that's my kind of Jello shot. Thank you, everybody.
And thank you, everybody, for coming out, and I look forward to meeting each and every one of you. Cheers.